You didn't wake up tired because you lack sleep. You woke up tired because you're carrying a life that doesn't belong to you. A life built on excuses, distractions, and promises you keep breaking to yourself. Somewhere along the way, you stopped listening to that voice inside you that knew you were meant for more, and you replaced it with noise, scrolling, comparing, waiting, numbing. This is the moment where that ends. Not tomorrow. Not when conditions improve, now. Because if you're honest, you're sick of your own explanations. Sick of telling yourself one day while your days keep slipping through your fingers like sand. Sick of watching time move forward while you stand still pretending you're fine. Awakening is violent. It's not peaceful. It doesn't feel good. It's the moment you realize you've been lying to yourself, and the lie has cost you years. It's when you finally admit that no one sabotaged you more effectively than you did. You weren't unlucky. You weren't cursed. You weren't held back. You hesitated. You chose comfort over growth. You chose familiar pain over the unknown. And the truth hits hard because it strips away the victim story you've been hiding behind. The truth is ruthless, but it's also freeing. Because the moment you stop blaming the world is the moment you realize you have power again. Right now, there is a gap between who you are and who you know you could be. And that gap is eating you alive. You feel it when you're alone. You feel it late at night when the distractions fade and the silence gets loud. That tension in your chest isn't anxiety, it's potential screaming to be used. It's the version of you that shows up in your imagination, disciplined, sharp, dangerous, confident, looking at the current version of you with disappointment and disbelief, not hatred, disappointment, because you know better. And knowing better but not doing better is the most exhausting state a human being can live in. You don't need more motivation. Motivation is cheap. Motivation shows up when it feels like it and disappears when things get hard. What you need is a wake-up call so loud it shatters the fantasy that you can keep living like this and somehow end up proud of yourself. You can't. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And deep down, you already know where this road leads. More regret, more self-disgust, more watching other people live the life you were too afraid to chase. The pain you're avoiding now will come back later with interest. This is where most people quit, right at awareness. They see the truth, feel the discomfort, then run straight back to distraction because growth requires them to sit in that pain and do something about it. But you're still here. That matters. Because awakening is the first step, and it's the hardest one. It's the moment you stop asking for permission, the moment you stop waiting for approval, the moment you realize that no one is coming to tap you on the shoulder and tell you it's time. Time doesn't announce itself, it just leaves. You've been trained to be soft, trained to avoid discomfort, trained to seek pleasure, praise, and instant results. That training made you weak. And weakness isn't about muscles. It's about the inability to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. Strength begins the moment you decide that your feelings are no longer in charge. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be willing. Willing to suffer, willing to fail, willing to look stupid, willing to be misunderstood. Because every meaningful transformation demands a version of you to die. Look at your habits. They are honest. They tell the truth about who you are becoming, not what you post, not what you say. What you repeatedly do when no one is watching. If your habits are lazy, your future will be painful. If your habits are disciplined, your future will be powerful. This isn't philosophy, it's math, and the numbers don't lie. Every skipped commitment, every delayed action, every excuse is a vote for the life you claim you don't want. Awakening is realizing that your potential means nothing without execution. The world doesn't reward intention, it rewards output. Nobody cares how hard it feels. Nobody is coming to feel sorry for you. They are too busy fighting their own battles, and that's not cruel, it's liberating. Because it means you don't need their validation either. You don't need applause to work. You don't need an audience to improve. You need standards. Brutal standards. Standards that don't bend when you're tired, emotional, or uninspired. This is where the fire starts, not the hype. The fire, the quiet, dangerous decision that you'll no longer negotiate with the weaker version of yourself. That voice that says later doesn't get a vote anymore. That part of you that wants comfort has had enough control, and look where it's led you. If you want a different life, you need different rules. Rules that are enforced even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. You are not broken. You are untrained, undisciplined, distracted, and that means you can be rebuilt. But rebuilding isn't gentle. It requires tearing down the identity you've been clinging to, the excuses, the labels, the story of who you think you are. You are not your past failures. You are not your circumstances. You are not your fears. You are the sum of what you choose to do next, repeatedly without applause. This is the line in the sand. On one side is the life you've been tolerating. On the other is the life you haven't earned yet. Crossing that line will cost you comfort, relationships, habits, and illusions. Staying where you are will cost you your self-respect. Choose what you're willing to lose, because you will lose something either way. Awakening doesn't make you confident. It makes you honest. And honesty hurts before it heals. But once you see clearly, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to sleep. You can't pretend anymore. The fire is lit now, and the only question left is whether you'll use it to forge yourself into something stronger, or let it burn out like every other moment you swore you'd change. This is only the beginning. The struggle begins the moment the excitement dies, not when things go wrong, but when nothing feels rewarding anymore. When the initial surge of fire fades and all that's left is repetition, discomfort, and silence. This is where fantasies collapse. This is where you realize motivation was never the engine. Discipline is. And discipline is brutal because it asks you to show up when there is nothing in it for you except pain and progress that no one can see yet. This is the phase where you stop feeling special and start feeling tired, where every flaw you ignored before comes to the surface and demands to be dealt with. You will question yourself here. You will wonder if you made the wrong decision, if this is worth it, if you're built for this kind of pressure. That voice will come back louder than ever, telling you to slow down, ease up, take a break, be balanced. That voice sounds reasonable. That's what makes it dangerous. It will disguise weakness as wisdom. It will tell you that you deserve rest when what you really want is escape. And if you listen to it too often, it will drag you right back to the life you swore you were done with. The struggle exposes what you're made of because it removes the illusion of choice. You either do the work or you don't. You either keep the promise or you break it. There is no crowd cheering you on here, no validation, no quick wins, just you versus the part of you that wants to quit the moment things stop being convenient. This is where character is built, not in moments of intensity, but in boring, grinding consistency. Day after day, rep after rep, decision after decision. Most people fail not because they can't do something hard once, but because they can't do something hard repeatedly without reassurance. You will feel alone here. Even if people are around you, they won't understand the war you're fighting. Some will doubt you. Some will mock you. Some will feel threatened by your change because your discipline exposes their excuses. Don't waste energy explaining yourself. Explanation is for the insecure. Results speak louder than words ever could. Let them doubt. Let them underestimate you. The struggle is not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. This phase will humble you. You will fail. You will miss days. You will fall short of your own standards. And this is where most people spiral, using imperfection as an excuse to quit entirely. Don't. Progress doesn't demand perfection. It demands persistence. The difference between winners and everyone else is not that winners never fail. It's that they don't let failure redefine who they are. They adjust. They recommit. They keep moving forward without drama. The struggle forces you to confront discomfort head-on. Physical discomfort, mental resistance, emotional exhaustion. The urge to numb yourself with distractions will be stronger than ever. Your brain will crave dopamine, easy pleasure, easy relief. And every time you resist that urge, every time you choose effort over escape, you are rewiring yourself. You are becoming someone who doesn't need motivation to act, someone who acts because it's required, because it's non-negotiable. There will be days you hate the process, days you resent the discipline, days you wonder why you chose this path at all. That's normal. What's not acceptable is quitting because of it. You need to love the grind. You need to respect it, because the grind is shaping you even when you don't feel it, especially when you don't feel it. Growth is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. You only notice it later, when things that once crushed you no longer do. The struggle strips you of ego. It teaches you patience. It teaches you restraint. It teaches you how to function without external validation. You start learning how to control your impulses, how to sit with discomfort without reacting, how to stay focused when boredom tries to pull you off course. This is where real strength develops. Not loud, not flashy, but unshakable. At some point in the struggle, something shifts. It's subtle. You won't notice it immediately, but one day, you'll realize you didn't argue with yourself before doing the hard thing. You just did it. The resistance is still there, but it no longer controls you. You've proven to yourself through action that you are capable of more than you thought. And that proof is dangerous in the best way, because once you have it, you can't unlearn it. The struggle doesn't make life easier, it makes you stronger. It doesn't remove obstacles, it turns you into someone who walks through them. You stop asking, how do I avoid pain, and start asking, how do I endure it without breaking? That shift changes everything, because now you're not fragile, you're forged. Most people turn back here, they rationalize, they compromise, they tell themselves they've done enough. But you didn't come this far to stop when it gets real. You didn't wake up to go back to sleep. The struggle is the price of transformation, and every ounce of effort you pour in now is building something that can't be taken from you. This is the phase where you earn your future. And if you stay long enough, if you endure without quitting, without numbing, without lying to yourself, something else begins. Not confidence, certainty,